to the holler. It's let's see here, mid-August, late August right now. We're going to be planting our favorite cold weather crop, Kyoto red carrots from Baker's Creek. They're my favorite. And my second favorite, and close second, new Caruto carrots. These are short. These are really long. All right, guys, so the first and foremost, you need to have a bed that correlates to the length of your carrot, right? So if I grew this carrot, new Caruto, 6 or 7 inches long max, they get fat. Really good carrot, but this bed is overkill. This bed's like 13 inches deep. Does not need that. But this carrot, Kyoto red, my favorite, sweet, fruity, awesome, best in really cold weather, needs a deep bed. I'm talking like 10, 11, 12, 13 inches at the least. You want to space your carrots approximately 12 inches on the row, approximately 3 inches on the root. Now, of course, you're not going to be able to do that right out of the gate, all right, because these seeds are tiny. You're going to have to thin, but your thinning is going to be to an approximate 3 inches in row. All right, so we found a nifty way to kind of make our rows, and this is extremely important. Start with soil full of organic matter, some sand, fluffy. You should be able to pound this soil hard like this, and then it stays completely fluffed. That's the thing with carrots. Okay, so assuming you've got that, so we'll come in here, we'll start the furrow. You see that soil? Sandy. So you got your furrow. Think smarter, or work smarter, not harder. Come in here. Now, in clay-based soil, in ground, this is a cardinal sin. You don't want to be compacting stuff, right? But in this bed, because I've tailor-made this soil over years, this is perfect. And then you just smooth out the edges. That way when you water, it doesn't drop a bunch of soil into your furrows. Pat them down. And now you have a furrow that's close to identical with the ones behind it. Now the reason we do these furrows, this is important. Number one, light fluffy soil. Two, the big ick with light fluffy soils is that they drain really well. You want that with carrots. When they're germinating, if they dry out for any extended period of time, they all die. I mean, carrots do not like to dry out during germinations. Whereas this ground will dry out first because it is high. The inverse occurs here. This stays wet much longer. That's the way groundwater works. It's just going to go down, and it takes it longer to leave this low spot than it does to leave this high spot. All right, so we're planting the last row here. We don't just sprinkle in the seeds, we actually space these, mainly because we're spoiled by the way that we do it. We always get a really great germination, so we can actually be picky with our seeding. What you see here is a row that is completely lacking level. These rows are pretty close. This is a little high here. This is really high. And what that's going to do is it's going to force water to run. These carrots will get more water than they need, perhaps too much. These carrots won't get enough. So we got to remove that soil and chase level as much as we can, because like the farther you are from level, the worse the watering will be in terms of getting your yields to match across the bed. So just peel that out. That's good. So now we got a level row, and you do your seeds at approximately 3-inch spacings. And once again, most people sprinkle these. I'm not saying do it this way. We just get such good germination with our method here that we can be picky. So I'll just literally put 2 or 3 seeds right there. Sprinkle a thin, really thin layer of soil over them. People say don't do that. You can do that. I'm not saying bury them. Don't do that. Just cover them up. A lot like clover seed. It's just dusting. That's all you got to do. Our next step will show you why that works so well. Another thing we do is before we go to plant, we lightly water in the bed. And what that does is, because you're dealing with furrows here, you don't want a bunch of dirt washing into your furrow right after you planted your seeds, because once again, Any more than a light dusting of soil over a carrot seed is probably a problem more often than not. So yeah, we watered it. You can see how it's all set up now. And then you just plant into your bottom. So with fertilization for carrots, you want to concentrate on phosphorus and potassium. You don't want a lot of nitrogen. If there's a lot of nitrogen in this soil, you'll get big, beautiful, deep green carrot tops that you don't eat, and you'll get tiny little stringy roots. It's not good, not good. So a little bit of nitrogen, fine. You want high phosphorus, high potassium. Both of those things stimulate root growth, bigger roots, and help with a sweeter flavor once the cold hits, right? Big problem with carrots. They like to dry out, and if those seeds dry out that are surface sown, you don't get any carrots. They don't germinate, they die, they're divas. So a lot of people, including us once upon a time, would set a board over them. This takes away all the light. When they sprout, if you do not time it perfectly, they sprout, they get super long and leggy with a super soft stem. You remove this, they see the sun, and like they're gonna have a heat stroke, they're like, oh man, and then they die. So, get that out of here. Burlap. It's a natural fiber, sucks up water, the fibers hold water. It's a shade cloth. If you really think about it, it's a shade cloth. It takes just enough sunlight that the plants still get sunlight. They're hardened upon emergence, but this keeps them so moist. We've went from like 60-70% germination to like, we could pretty much consider every single one of these 2 seed plantings every 3 inches. We know that they're all going to come up. It's that good. So you take it, spread it out over your bed like so. This ain't the actual piece I'm going to end up using. This piece is small, but this is the principle behind it. You would take it, set it like that. You can lap it over the sides of your bed and then just put a rock on it on the end to get some tension to it. But that's all you do right there. Okay, now your furrows are not making contact once this is tensioned, are not making contact with your seed or your early emerging plants. That's important and that is useful. And then you just take your hose, come between here, and you water in the burlap. I water really softly because I'm always afraid that I'll uncover the seed. And see that? And that burlap will suck up all that water. What goes through will drip, so your seed's never being uncovered with, brash watering. And there it is. It's holding on to all that water. And this is a game changer. Like, this is the way we're gonna do it in perpetuity. It works. All right, so you'll water this rather often. Here's why. They cannot dry out. You cannot allow them to dry out. And it takes days and days and days for carrots to sprout. Now, this burlap buys you a lot of time. The furrow planting buys you a lot more time. Everything together makes your germination rates, if you do it this way, really, really good. So, consider all these things, your carrots will grow like an invasive species. And if you like what you've seen, do like and subscribe. We got a lot of stuff coming. This is fall planting season, and this is my favorite time to grow a lot of food. Like, I love turnips, I love radishes, I love carrots more than the other two, but I love them all a lot. And we don't ever worry about a drought in the fall, so